Meet the Crew with your host, Lloyd Ellis.
Welcome back to Meet the Crew, and I'm your host, Lloyd Ellis, and we're back for yet an amazing event. We are back with shows, y'all. Just saying. Today's guest is one of the biggest promoters in the country. I wouldn't just say Central Midwest, the Upper Midwest, the Kentuckiana. No, this guy does shows all over the continental US. But before we get into our guest, I'm gonna have to take care of a little housekeeping. Some of y'all, wow, I hit my microphone, but that's okay though. Some of y'all that watch the show, y'all watch it, but y'all don't subscribe. What's going on? I'm gonna wait for you guys to hit that button. It's simple, it's free, and it's easy. Just hit that like and that subscribe, that little, that thing. No, I'm not pulling him up because I'm gonna get a copyright if I do that. Just hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that little bell so that way you know who the next person that we have coming on the show is. Because yes, today's episode is a little bit different. We don't have the backstage crew. We have the person that brings it all together. Yeah, we have an extraordinary person on today's episode for you all today. Now, let's get into it. Jojo, you there, brother?
I am.
Introduce yourself to the folks out there in the interwide webs.
Yeah, so I'm Joe Argabrite, born and raised Louisville, Kentucky. And I am a co-owner of Production Simple and Headliners Music Hall.
So we have to stop for a moment and give the good old-fashioned Joe Argabrite, y'all.
Thank you.
So for some of y'all that don't know what Headliners is and Production Simple is, you guys have been living under a rock for the past, I don't know what, 17, 20, whatever freaking years. If you've gone to any show there, any show at Iroquois, any show at the Waterfront, the Palace, this guy's a major promoter, y'all. I'm just saying. He is the man that hires me.
If I'm lucky enough.
He hires me. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it wasn't for him doing what he does, I wouldn't be doing what I do. Just saying. So, Joe, kind of tell everybody what your expertise is. Explain to them what exactly you do for a living, bud.
So I guess the title would be talent buyer and co-owner operator of both a venue, as we talked about, Headliners, and I guess our job really is to secure talent in the right room, venue, on the right date, and promote that show to the fans, sell as many tickets as we can, and create, experiences for people that they'll, hopefully remember their whole lives. It's not just about a show for us. I think we're very much about people leaving, just never forgetting the night that they had. So I would say that we're peddlers of good times.
I love that experience. We talk about experience quite a bit on this show. It's something that we pride ourselves on. It could be a number in a lot of businesses, but in our industry, you want to make sure that people leave with something that is memorable, something that they're going to come back for more of. That's how we base our careers on. That's how I base my rapport with people like you on, of you wanting to hire me to say, hey, I have an event, I want to make sure that this is done top notch, so that way that customer has the best experience and will come back again for my events. So it's got to be memorable. It's got to be an experience. It's epic. Isn't that what the kids say now? Epic.
Epic.
No, that's a bad word. That's at four. That's four.
Yeah, I think you're looking for sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you. So how did you get into this crazy industry, brother?
Oh man. Never really meant to do this as a career, actually. I was always the guy in the band that I played in growing up and playing in bands. I was always the guy that did the business for the band and booked the band and got everybody there and got all the equipment there and got us paid. In retrospect now, I realize that that's basically yeah, exactly. So I realize now that was probably the precursor to what I'm doing now. And I moved to Denmark when I was 18 and was able to experience prior to that and post that Roskilde Music Festival, which is one of the longest standing European festivals. Absolutely blew my mind, the scale of that. Really just got to see stuff at a very large scale at a very early age. Still didn't know that's what I was going to do. Moved back to the States, continued to be in bands and be the guy that booked the band, moved back to Louisville in 2004, I believe it was. And a guy wandered in my front yard and recruited me to be a promoter rep for his shows. And that's pretty much how I got into promoting.
Brother, you have what we call big marbles. Marbles.
Or just too stupid to know different. I didn't fully understand what I was getting myself into. But it turns out that, it's easy to enjoy something that you feel like you grow in and can figure out and do well in. And it turns out that this was just kind of what that was for me. I thought I was going to sail boats for a living, so it couldn't have been a more left-hand turn for me. But here I am, many years later, and I don't think I could ever let it go. So
sail boats for a living. All right, you went there. Boats like break off another 1,000. Boats are expensive. Tell me about the boats.
Yeah, so no, when I was in Denmark, I was fortunate enough to be part of a program in building replica and sailing replica Viking ships and getting my captain's license. And that really sparked interest in me for a long-term career in sailing, whether it be delivering boats or working as crew on boats or, just living the I wouldn't say yachty lifestyle, because I'm definitely more into sailboats, but that was kind of my long-term, sort of goal. So when I came back to the United States and moved to Charleston, South Carolina, I thought, well, there's definitely boats here. There's definitely money here. I'm interested in both. And that really never actually, was able to come to fruition, really. And I ended up coming back here to Louisville, and that's when I started promoting.
Brother, you hit something dear to my heart.
Really?
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Not these guys. That right there is my hometown, Minneapolis, by way of Minnesota, home of the Vikings.
Yep.
Home of the
right.
Land of 10,000 lakes. Yes, I'm chocolate, y'all, and I know how to swim. I love boats. I love aquatic things.
Yeah.
There's two things in life I want to do. Get a very large boat. It's going to be break off another 1,000. Pick up that acronym right there again. Y'all. And then get a pilot's license, because I love aeronautics. Very simple. I have my studio that we are in, but my other expensive hobby is water toys and planes and stuff like that. And the fact that you embarked on the boating captain, nautical, like that's pretty awesome. People always ask me, they're like, so you've worked with this person and that person. Who's the coolest person you ever worked with? And I'm like, Travis Pastrana or Twitch. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, the guys that get hurt. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what about like Elton John or something like that? I'm like, no, those guys are just like us. But the really cool people are the people that do really cool stuff like flips, or people that fly planes and do aeronautical stuff in the air, or people that take a 1,000-foot boat and stop it on a dime on a dock.
Yeah.
Just saying, you do. And an open wave of a ocean that is having 15, 20, 30-foot swells. You try that.
Yeah.
Those people are rock stars in my book.
I've never been more tested in my life than going offshore and experiencing heavy weather, for sure. It's it'll definitely give you some glimpse into who you are, for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that we're back doing shows, just saying, we are in, what is today? May 26th, something like that.
Yep.
We had our first weekend of festival type outdoor big shows down at the waterfront. I'm going to ask you, how has the last year with COVID affected you professionally or with your family, if I may ask?
Yeah, so I mean, I think family wise, we actually really pulled together, and I guess I consider myself having a number of families. There's, wife and kids, and then there's the family that I feel like I've been fortunate enough to find myself in, which is, that work and friend family. So, certainly was very, very difficult when everything happened, to have to lay off 30 something people, and not really know what all we could do to help those people, as we knew that it was going to be a very rough time, as it was for us through that process as well. So I think the challenges of COVID have actually proven to make us feel stronger as a company, stronger as people, because we got through it. My partner, Billy, was instrumental in lobbying efforts through NEVA, which is a trade organization that was formed out of COVID, which has brought 3,000 independent promoters and venues together that never were together. As you can tell, I'm trying to focus on the silver lining a little bit. It was hell other than that. Going through it was terrifying. It was something that really tested us as human beings. We started out as a 4-person partnership. We're now a 2-person partnership. So there's been some things that have happened there, but professionally, it was just really difficult to not do what we do. And I've done it for so long that there was a sense of like, can I do anything else? So with that feeling, really the only choice was to fight to save the businesses and keep the businesses alive, which we've been able to do up to this point. So lots of challenges, but just like a lot of people early on, I cooked a lot. I was home more than I've ever been in 20 years, which was amazing. But in the in-between time, the 12 to 14 hours during the day, it was a little bit of a freak out here and there. But so it's been challenging. It's been really, really challenging, but excited for what's coming out of it at the end.
Most definitely. What was the feeling like when, I know that you guys at Headliners did a couple of events prior, parking lot shows where you guys brought in some production. What was it like being able to finally start having crowds back, doing events again?
It was emotional. I mean, you know, we were all, for a lot of us, it was the first time that we'd seen each other. You know, bringing everybody back together, bringing staff on, bringing some new staff on, but by and large, most of the old staff was able to come back, which is just extraordinary. And for a lot of us, you know, that load-in time kind of marked the first time we had all seen each other in over a year. So it was just nothing but hugs and happy, happy, happy. You know, I don't think. It's another thing, I guess, that's great is we'll have this little grace period where we're all really thrilled to go through how hard of a day those things can be sometimes. But lots of tears, lots of hugs, lots of smiles, you know, an appreciation for me really hit me. And yeah, it was just great. It was great to finally see something that we, you know, were hoping to do and see on paper actually like come alive in real life. And all 3 shows that weekend sold out, so that was helpful. Yeah, and kind of the systems that we had set up that we had never done before because you never had to because of COVID was amazing. And just couldn't be, it was just emotional. It was just highly emotional.
I know that to kind of piggyback on what you just said, I don't want to name drop him, but he's got to be mentioned. Jesse and I were sitting at front of house this weekend talking, and we both literally had the same exact comment. We were I live in Lexington, and you guys are all in Louisville, and I was driving back and forth every day. And driving up on Thursday for production load in, it was a tear in the eye. And he said the same thing because it was literally a family reunion. We've talked to each other via this Zoom. We've talked to each other on the phone, but it had been a year and a half since I had seen all of you all in person. As far as concerts go, you all were my last big show at Iroquois. I've done corporate stuff and I did the debates, but as far as entertainment per se, things that people go see for enjoyment, you know, like you all were the last thing that I did over a year and a half ago. And to have that come full circle and be the first thing again, and then to turn around and see you walk up with that mask with them sunglasses on, and I'm sitting in front of the house, and I turn around and you're like, "What's up, dude?" I'm like, "Come on, give me some love, man." Like, it's a family situation. Like I remember several years ago when I came into Headliners to help you guys out for that season, you know, like the love you guys showed me, man. It just, that right there solidified it for me to where anything you guys need at any point in time, yes, because you guys run the type of establishment, team, family to where you don't look at people as just a number. You know what I mean? Like it is always, in the end of the day, we got to make money. But reality is, if you get the right people in the right spot, they're going to break their neck for you. And then you're all going to make money in the end. And you're going to make a lot of money in the end because we're going to all have a great experience in the end. And it's amazing the things that people just don't realize that happens in this entertainment industry, and the people that we have to connect, starting from folks like you, the promoters, the booking agents, the talent buyers. Well, actually, starting with the bands, the bands that create the music, the producers that work with the bands that create the music, people like me, but that's okay, who get the idea, who then put out an album and then are shopping it and trying to put on events, but then they reach out to folks like you and they're like, please just give me a chance. And you guys just run with it, and you take that vision, and somehow or another your brains just work on a different level than 99% of most folks out there to be able to just take these groups that you would have never thought would be able to perform at a level that they can, and give them a platform to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes folks like you out there backing the artists out there and giving the artists out there a chance. And that starts out in the clubs, in the amphitheaters, in the open fields. And a lot of folks out there just don't understand that you just don't start out hopping out on a bus. You got to crawl before you walk.
Yeah.
And the great thing is you with your company, your team, you guys see everybody. You don't just get the club folks. You don't just get the arena folks or the stadium folks. You see it all, you know, and you have a rapport with it all, which is pretty awesome. This has been one of the most amazing episodes I've ever done, I have to say, because it's near to my heart with this whole series of, we want to be able to give everybody a chance to dig into what we all do for a living, because there's so many misconstrued thoughts about, hey, these guys just live on buses and party like rock stars all day in, day out. And it's like, no, we work for a living. Most of the time we're in an office. I know you're at an office. I'm in my home office / studio, and we work most of the time at least a 9 to 5 every day, if not 18-hour days. If we're on job site, that's usually at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And if we get a little chance to relax, that's cool. But yeah, it is sun in the fun most of the time. I know this past weekend was hot.
It was,
but
it
was also a blast at the same time, you know. And would I do it again in a heartbeat? Of course. That's the type of mindset that we have. We love to do what we do.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to do it again. And
Me
again.
neither.
And again.
Got one Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 2 days away, do parking lot party again.
Yes, sir. Bring it. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. So, Joe, we now get to that point in our show. Well, not necessarily. We're going to call it a show for the day. If there's one, and I give you one thing only, that you can tell the folks out there in the inner wide world wide webs, that they might not know about you, or just in general, what they might need to know, what might be?
After almost 20 years, I still love music. I still get music chills. I still love what I do. Some of what we talked about earlier about the sailing, I think only the people close to me know that sort of part of my history, particularly because Viking ships don't really match up with promoting shows necessarily. But yeah, I mean, I still love music. That maybe actually wouldn't be shocking to a lot of people, but you being in the industry, and anybody that watches us being in the industry, realizes that can sometimes be tested, because it is, you know, you're grinding hard. But you know, I've never stopped getting music chills, and I just couldn't be happier to be back into things that give me music chills. And then in addition to that, being able to do that with, you know, my work family is so important. It just makes everything worth it in the end, to be there with your friends. So yeah, I don't know.
Brother, that is amazing. And I can't lie, I still get work chills. I get work anxiety dreams the night before every show still.
Yeah,
We
totally
actually talked about that on the show this weekend. We with the road guys that were there. We were like, man, I had anxiety dreams last night.
Yeah. Console crashes, can't get it back up. Yeah.
That felt great. It had been a long while, but I was like, man, that sucks. But yeah, they're back.
Great.
Anxiety dreams before show.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, how could people reach out to you? How could people come to an event?
Yeah, I mean, really, so obviously we do Headliners Music Hall. You had touched on earlier about, emerging acts and acts that nobody really might not be on their radar. Headliners does give us a platform to work with emerging artists. And a lot of them, as you pointed out, go on to play the bigger rooms and the arenas, but they all start out in small independent venues. And I am fiercely independent in that way, and absolutely am passionate about independent venues across the country who have been tested significantly through this COVID thing, do not have the deep pockets, do not have the investment. Unfortunately, have lost quite a few venues. We're still waiting on our grants to come through. But yeah, in terms of coming to I got diverted there, but yeah, Headliners Music Hall, you're going to always see a great show. It's going to be good sound, it's good sound, good fair pricing on drinks, all of that sort of stuff. The experience is strong there. Also, Production Simple books all over Louisville, Lexington, and some other areas in Kentucky as well. So productionsimple.com is a good way. Headlinerslouisville.com. Those two websites will get you everything you need to get to for sure. And buy tickets because they are selling. People are hungry for it. Everything is selling, very strongly for now. So get on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to do this, but it has been an amazing show. It has been an amazing guest. This has been great conversation. I have to let him go. I'm gonna cry.
Well, thanks for having me on, Lloyd. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
This has been a blast. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Argabrite.
Thanks, Lloyd. I'm Joe Argabrite, and you just met the crew.
Meet the crew with your host, Lloyd Ellis.